winter campaign returns for week 11. Welcome, Will.
Thank you, Jack. Is it really week 11? It certainly feels like the winter again.
It has been Storm Dennis just stopped as we're recording this, and last week we were talking about SWEP, the severe weather emergency protocol stuff. It's all been going on this week, so thank you very much for those who watched that, and let anybody know in town or anywhere where you were about that.
Thank you, Spotted Stafford, for sharing that. I thought it was really useful for you to do that so that the community can see what they need to do in terms of response under SWEP. That's good, thank you, those people.
So, what we are going to talk about this week is something that might not seem relevant to you, but is very, very important and can creep up on anyone. We have had, Will, over the past few weeks, a few of our friends coming in, and we have, through chatting to them, sitting down, eating, we've realised that they've been living in crazy circumstances.
Yes.
For example, somebody living without water for over 24 months. That's over 2 years without any hot water.
Yeah.
Coping with that by going round to relatives' house to shower and all that kind of thing. But just coping with it because they had other issues, and every time another issue came up, and they never got round to the hot water. Now that sounds weird to you and me, as hot water, would be a priority to most of us, but things can creep up on you, Will, and we wanted to talk about this week how important it is to, as soon as there's an issue, to raise it.
Yeah. You often hear about speaking about the elephant in the room, and that's what we spend a lot of time talking about. And it might be that you're watching this and actually you're somebody who's not opened the letter that says final reminder or final statement or leading to an eviction situation. It's perfectly normal to a certain degree to avoid what you don't want to face up to, and most of us manage it because we sort of go, we've got to deal with it, or you're somebody who's on top of a lot of things. But if there are things that start creating that vicious circle, things like losing your job, family breakdown, whatever it might be, then you begin to lose confidence, and so therefore seeing a letter that is going to be bad news, it's much easier to say, well, I'll speak about it tomorrow. And Jack's quite right, we've dealt with a number of people over the last couple of weeks, and over the years we've been running this, and don't forget we're in our 10th year. Very often it starts by somebody being in an unstable circumstance, not feeling confident to open that envelope, and then, of course, when they do open the envelope, it feels like the end of the world. And
stuff's already snowballed from there. It doesn't start that you run out of hot water for 2 years. It doesn't start. We had somebody else who'd been living without electricity for many, many, many years. It doesn't start like that. It just slowly creeps up on you. And if you get into a situation like Will says, where you become more and more vulnerable, that can really, really escalate. And suddenly the huge big things just don't seem that bad because you've been coping with it for so long.
So we have different ways of working with folk and other agencies to get people to think about and hopefully address the issue. So we work with the CAB, or the Citizens Advice I should say now. So we have a lovely lady called Karen Wilkes who comes in every Thursday to Cafe 43.
She works at the Citizens Advice.
She works at the CA Citizens Advice, and anybody, whether you're viewing this, you don't have to be somebody who's using our service, so to speak. The CA are here on Thursdays. You could access them here. It's worth bearing in mind that if you want to get an appointment, come in and see us or phone us. They're available at the hub at different times during the week, but some people find coming to Cafe 43 just an easier way of meeting with folk like that. In addition to that, and this is why this plays into a really important subject, we've got somebody coming in, I think she's starting in a couple of weeks' time, called Carol, who's going to talk about literacy to our friends. We've already got a client where English isn't her first language, this person, and she's clearly going to struggle to address some of the basic issues that
even with people whose first language is English, literacy is, it might seem strange in this country to be talking about literacy, but you would be amazed if you came to House of Bread to see what people struggle with.
In addition to that, we've got another piece of support, a guy called Brian. Brian's going to be coming in and helping set up our IT suite on a Thursday. We have 2 computers regularly here throughout the week, but we're going to try and enhance that offering. And what Brian's going to do is going to be alongside folk who, again, might be struggling with working out how to do something online. Increasingly, a number of things need to be done online. And again, if you're bold and you've got get up and go, then you're in a position to be feeling okay about making that call to a complete stranger. But if you freak out when you hear the dial tone, the ringtone go to Vivaldi's Four Seasons, you'll know what that means if you make those calls on a regular basis. It's those things that create the problem between let's avoid this thing and let's action it. So it's all about early intervention, fessing up to the problem, which may not be your fault, and even if it is, we can work with you to get through it.
As like I said at the beginning, it might not seem relevant, but it can happen to everyone, and we've seen it happen to everybody you could possibly imagine on a scale. I hope that's helpful. I hope that's given you some sort of advice or some reassurance about what we do,
maybe some
or
encouragement
how we
to support people.
Yeah.
If you know somebody's struggling, come alongside them.
And if you want any more information on that, don't hesitate to contact us, email, phone, whatever. We're more than happy to chat with people about that. Thank you very much, Will.
That's all right, Jack.
We have run out of time. We apologise for our blue fingers. We had a bit of a printer issue earlier, so we were changing the ink. If anybody's noticed that we've got weird blue fingers. If you want to know what we get up to on a day-to-day basis and all the fundraising stuff, and if you've done something for us and you want us to say thank you, check out Hob News. That goes up at 6 o'clock on Sundays. But until then, thank you very much once more for watching. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.